Amy, tell us a little bit about draft day. It was pretty unique having your brother go early, and then tell us a little bit about the day and your reaction when your name was read out.
Yeah, sure. So my little brother went up and watched it in Sydney, so he got invited up there, and I was just going to watch it at home with my brother Angus and my girlfriend Lauren. And at the very last minute, my girlfriend said, let's go watch it at the constable's house. So Charlie got drafted 36 to Geelong, and so we knew he was going to be drafted earlier. So we went, and Andrew went too, and Charlie went 36, and then we're all happy, and then I sort of just started sinking back deeper into the chair, and as each pick went on, I got further into the couch, and then come pick 68, it was all excitement and happiness. So yeah, it was a very, very overwhelming night, but it was, yeah, awesome.
Did you see the pictures of your parents when your name was read out on the TV?
Yeah, so when my name was called out before, so it said Hamish. Luckily there was no other Hamishes in the draft because we didn't get to hear my last name. Everyone was on top of me, so I didn't actually see it as it played out. But we went back and rewound the TV, and I saw it, and yeah, it was really nice to see the way they reacted. You know, they've put so much time and effort into me over my 19 years, and to see that joy on their faces when my name was called out was, yeah, it was really nice and special.
Your brother was visually moved, actually. In fact, he seemed more excited about you being drafted than himself. That must be a special relationship. And then he got on the phone to you and they recorded that.
Yeah, it definitely was. I've played with him for the last couple of years. So I was in my year 12 year at Haileybury. I played first 18 with him, and then TAC Cup, his top and bottom age year, I was lucky enough to play with him. So you know, he's pretty much known that he was going to get picked up this year, and you know, he's always a big supporter of mine, and him going up there, you know, I would have loved to have been there with him to sort of share in that moment with him, but yeah, he got on the phone to me pretty soon after, and yeah, it was ecstatic, and you know, he was really, really happy for me, so that was, it was really nice to have his support.
Your dad reckons he knew when Andrew walked out because he had a smirk on his face because he's a family friend. Did you pick up that as well when Andrew was walking out and he was smiling?
Well, yeah, Dad told me the story afterwards that he was speaking to the bloke who was announcing it, and he said afterwards he did walk out with a smirk on his face, so I knew that and went back and watched it, and I didn't notice it at the time because I was a bit nervous, but looking back I did see he had a little cheeky grin on his face when he walked out, and yeah, so that was nice.
What have you changed in your skill set from last year? Because you were overlooked in last year's draft. What have you changed in your body, your skills?
So I think coming out of last year, I was a bit in and out of injury, so I had a couple of foot problems that all cleared up this year, which was really, really handy. But I did a bit of extra work in the gym. I was doing lots of boxing, lots of extra running and bike. So that sort of, I tried my best to sort of keep up and keep fit and keep my body healthy so that I could play games, consecutive games in a row. So I think I played probably 5 or 6 games last year in a row and then was out for injury. So I really wanted this year gone to sort of get in and have a good string of games. So I was lucky enough to not miss a game with injury this year. So I think just pre-having my body and getting myself strong and injury-free was probably the biggest thing that I changed this year.
How do you think Andrew will handle being the number 2 pick? It's obviously a fair bit of pressure coming into the club.
Yeah, it definitely is. He's a pretty humble kid. I think he'll handle it all right. I think the main thing about being number 2 was that he got one up on Angus, so he was number 3 in his draft, so he's got that one over him. But yeah, going into a club, you know, the pick really doesn't matter after draft night, so he's, I think, up in some army camp at the moment, so I don't think anyone really cares that he was the number 2 pick there when he's doing push-ups. So yeah, I think he'll handle it really well. There is a little bit of added pressure, but I think he's, you know, once you get in there, he's just going to try and work his heart out, and yeah, the pick doesn't really matter after the first couple of days, so yeah, I think he'll do really well with it.
And does that work the other way for you too? Given
well,
when you
yeah,
come in, you feel
yeah,
like
I think so. So there was a couple of guys who got picked up pretty early. Jared Brander went pick 13, and you know, coming into the club, you really notice that it's a really inclusive space, and everyone tries to be really nice to everyone, and no one's excluded. So yeah, I've noticed straight away that rookies or late picks or early draft picks, it doesn't really matter. Everyone's sort of on the same playing field. We're doing the same running, same drills, so it's, yeah, no one's different than anyone else regardless of picks.
And the indication from Simo has been he'd like to expose some of the youth this year, so next year, you'd be pretty keen to get an opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. That's a while away from here. I've still got to get through a hard pre-season, but yeah, definitely looking forward to just giving it my all and earning the respect of the players, and yeah, hopefully next year, if it does happen, it happens, but yeah, a lot of hard work to go before then.
Are you and Andrew decided on whether you're going to live together next year, or?
Not too sure at the moment. There's my host parents, who I'm going to move in with next week, have said that they are more than happy to accommodate him. So my host mum's a mad Fremantle supporter, so she's happy to have him. But yeah, I think he's living with, staying with a player for the first month until Christmas, and then he'll decide. But if he does live with me, then that'll be great. But if not, we've got our same off days, and I'll have a car, so it'll be easy to catch up with him.
So
Would it
your
be a
host
tough
family
choice?
adopted.
It's between Fifey and you. Would that be a tough choice for him?
Yeah, well, he's got a pretty handy player to learn off with Fife, but I don't think he'll get homesick, and so I think he'll be fine. We're not too far away from one another, so if he does decide to stick around there, then I think it'll work out for both of us.
You reckon the Eagles would Niz let you move in with your brother? Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think it's been all talked about, all talked over. I think it's fine, and as I said, the host mum's a mad Fremantle supporter, so I think she's fine with it as well.
Is there anyone in particular at West Coast you're keen to learn off?
Getting to the club, I've noticed that there's been a few. The older players don't need to be there at the moment, and you see a few of them coming back. So Nat Nui, McGovern, and all those sort of guys are coming back early. They're obviously keen to get back on the park, and just looking out there at Luke Shuey and all those sort of guys who are, elite players that you idolise growing up. Just the work rate they have and the extras that they do off the ground and off the field is something that you don't really get to learn off at an under 18 level. So coming into the elite environment, it's really good to look at those older players and see how they go about it, just to sort of try and better yourself coming into the next level.
And do you understand the Derby fever over here? I mean, you actually know how to say it, as most Victorians don't. That's amazing. You're a hero heritage, but have you got your head around that at all? What Derby means?
Not really. I've heard quite a bit about it, that it picks up a little bit, but with Melbourne you have 10 or so clubs, so you don't really have those intense rivalries. I was a North Melbourne supporter, so North versus Essendon was a big thing, but there's nothing like this, and I've heard that Adelaide's a bit the same. When it comes showdown time over there, it just picks up. But yeah, I haven't experienced anything like that yet, and Mum and Dad said you got to be ready for it, because it is a really different experience. But yeah, definitely looking forward to it.